After over 2 months in quarantine, we're still going strong eating from our food storage. The world is starting to open up a little, but we're pretty much planning on staying put, at least for now. Mike's working at home and the kids still have a couple weeks of school left at home, so it's actually really nice not spending any money on gas. We still have plenty of food, so we're going to continue our challenge at least for a while. It's hard to believe we've been eating for so long on our food storage because it hasn't seemed to diminish very much. Our fridge is looking pretty empty, but we barely touched the food in our deep freeze, and we still have lots of our long-term food storage. Besides not having a lot of fresh produce, just canned or frozen or dehydrated fruits and veggies, our meals this week didn't seem too different from what we would normally eat. Either that or we're just getting used to this whole food storage menu thing. I'm loving having the kids at home to help out more in the kitchen. My 2 oldest kids, they're 12 and 10 and a half, they can each make bread on their own, which is super convenient. My oldest made 8 loaves a couple days ago. It's so soft and yummy when it's fresh. We're more excited about having a garden than we ever have been. I think when the garden comes on, we should have fresh produce coming out our ears. Hopefully we'll have enough of a harvest that we can and freeze and dehydrate and save a lot of it too. I'll be sharing more about the progress of our garden next week. I'm really excited to tell you about it. Okay, let me tell you what we ate this week. For breakfast, we had oatmeal a couple of times, we had steel-cut oats, cream of wheat, eggs, and sourdough waffles. For lunch, we had peanut butter and jelly most days, like we usually do, along with orange slices and apple slices. We also finished off the string cheese that we got at the beginning of March. One day when we didn't have bread made, I made pasta for lunch. I had mac and cheese for the little kids, and then I made a chicken tomato pasta concoction for the rest of us. There was enough of it to have as leftovers for dinner later in the week. Okay, dinner. I didn't do a good job of keeping track of what we ate for dinner this week. I wrote out a menu for the week, but I didn't follow it very well, so honestly I can't remember everything we had. I'm notoriously bad at following my own menu. Mike and I joke that whatever the menu says, we're guaranteed to eat something else. I do remember some of it though. We had lentil tacos on our homemade tortillas with lettuce and salsa and homemade cheese. And I'll tell you more about the tortillas and the cheese in just a minute. Creamy tacos. My in-laws came over for dinner and we had creamy taco casserole with salad and jello with pineapple and some pumpkin custard. White bean chili. I cooked white beans in the crock pot and then added some dehydrated onions and diced chilies and some spices. And leftovers. We had leftovers at least twice this week, but maybe 3 times. All the days are blending together and apparently the meals are too. Last week I told you I'd be trying some new things this week. I've been meaning to try at least homemade tortillas and cheese for a long time, but I've never seemed to get around to it. I figured that telling you about it would hold me accountable, and it did. Also, thank you Jennifer, Rebecca, Jennifer, Jen, Laura, and Candace for your tortilla and cheese input last week. Your suggestions both on the blog and on YouTube were really helpful. So here's how it went. Tortillas are a favorite for everyone around here, whether it's tacos, burritos, quesadillas, Tex-Mex casseroles, peanut butter and jelly on tortillas, or just plain tortillas. In the past, I've tried to make tortillas, but they haven't really turned out well. Now that we're totally out of tortillas, I finally gave making tortillas another shot. I'm happy to say that it went really well. I used a recipe that Jennifer suggested over on my blog. I'll leave a link below. They were a real hit. The kids were asking, "Why are these tortillas so good, Mom?" The only problem was that it took a long time to make. I used the cast iron skillet so I could only do one at a time. Eventually one of the kids came in and helped me, but next time I think I'll try the griddle or get several pans going at once so it doesn't take so long. I doubled the recipe since we have a big family and we're big eaters, and we only had 3 left over. Okay, I tried 2 different cheese recipes. One was a fresh cheese from powdered milk that was super simple. It's a video here on YouTube. I'll link that below too. Besides powdered milk, I only needed some lemon juice, or you could use vinegar, and it turned out pretty good. But it turned out a little dry because we squeezed too much moisture out in the final step. The second kind I tried was a mozzarella. I did a small batch because I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, especially since I was using powdered milk. In addition to the milk, it also called for rennet and citric acid, but I had both of those. The process is more complicated and different recipes use completely different processes. It didn't quite turn out right. It was It was fine until the last step where the instructions had me put my ball of cheese into salt water in the fridge overnight. In the morning it had turned really weird and slimy and overly salty. We'll try it again another time. Okay, making hot wheat cereal. We tried a new hot breakfast cereal this week made with whole wheat. You can do it with either whole wheat or cracked wheat. We just used the whole wheat kernel. The friend who suggested it to me said that she used her rice cooker, so that's what I did. For every cup of wheat, you add 3 cups of water and then cook it in the rice cooker on the brown rice setting. Our rice cooker has a delay timer, which I love, so I just put 2 cups of wheat and 6 cups of water in the night before and then told the rice cooker that what time I wanted it ready. Though most of the family liked that wheat cereal, 2 kids did complain that the texture was weird. But everybody ate it anyway. Okay, now to try this next week. My friend Susan asked if I'd ever tried SOS mix. Now, that's a tongue twister, but what's short for soup or sauce mix. It's a mix of a few dry ingredients including powdered milk, cornstarch, chicken bouillon, dried onions, and Italian seasoning. As the name implies, it can be used for soups and sauces. In fact, a 1/3 cup of the mix whisked with 1 1/4 cups of cold water and then heated will sub for a can of cream soup in any recipe. There are lots of recipes using the mix and I'm planning to try it out at least once this week. I also want to try making homemade graham crackers like Julie suggested last week and chocolate cream of wheat like Sarah mentioned. Do you have any more great suggestions to add variety to our food storage menu? I would love to hear them down in the comments. Okay, that's all for this week. See you next time.